Так, хорошо. Нет, еще есть. Пойдем сюда сходим. Угу. Угу. Фортутрен. 4, 2. Ага. 4, 2, 1, 3. 4, 2, 1, 3. 1, 3. Какой хороший код. Чё? Четыре, 2. Фаер. Я дебил. Да.
Ага.
Так. Ну все. Надо свалить отсюда и рассказать. Тут, кстати, может быть... Тут ключа нигде не осталось. Я бы не отказался бы от ключа. Честно. От ключа в музыкальную комнату. Ну, по идеальности. И да, всем привет, народ. Думаю, пора отсюда валить. Осталось только идти, в какую сторону тут надо валить. Давайте сначала обсудим с Гастисом. Гастис.
What do you need? The argument with Irene at the gala, and then with his wife after.
Madame Allen had uncovered their relationship. But even with this revelation, what still remains a mystery is Monsieur Christiansen's involvement with the theft.
Отлично.
What do you need?
Ищи.
What can I do?
I will not take up any.
Ладно. Пойдемте болтай с женой. Нет, серьезно. Привет, Гастис. Опаньки, интервью закончилось. Привет, Бетти.
You're just full of questions, aren't you?
Ага.
Own? You don't just own an animal detective. He's part of our family.
Pardon. And his name?
Enoch. And I ask you the question, what's he got to do with anything? And
Purely curiosity, madame. Enoch. A splendid name for a most handsome...
And it was your husband that mentioned him at the gala.
it means faithful in Norwegian. It was you.
You have been most helpful.
Рынок.
You're just full of...
You have been most helpful.
Так, хорошо. Захари? От Захари можно поговорить? Так. Мне сюда надо? Не знаю. Надо, не надо. Ну, пойдемте. Посмотрим. Может, тут что еще есть интересное. тоже сейф. Энок. Значит, Энок. Не. Но. К. Отличненько. Ура, мы нашли ключики. Все, спасибо, мы пошли. Гасикс, мы упиздили ключики. Пошли. Ура, клювотики. Ура, пианинка. Книга. А вот и наша брошка понадобилась. Я не знаю. Пианино. Подарка. Чего?
The pigment of this paint is bright.
Meaning?
We have found a...
Poirot, the door.
Привет.
What are you doing in?
Monsieur Christiansen, welcome home.
This doesn't look good, does it?
We have much to discuss.
So Mr. Christensen had an opportunity and a motive, but he continues to deny killing her.
Кто он делся уже?
And still 2 forgeries remain.
I knew it.
Вот это.
Pardon, monsieur?
I knew that's why she stayed so friendly with her. Irene always said she was besotted.
Perhaps you should elaborate on the identity of...
The curator. Evelyn, what's her name? She could spot a forgery at 20 yards. What better person to show you the ropes so you can make your...
If the board of trustees at the museum got wind of this, Miss Warbeck's career would be finished.
And in her own words, if anyone was to jeopardize her career...
She wouldn't be held responsible for her actions.
It seems Monsieur Christiansen may not be the only person tied to Mademoiselle Court Smythe who has a secret to hide.
Yeah.
Madame Hélène has confirmed the surprise appearance of her husband during the intermission of her show. Monsieur Hastings, there is something troubling you?
If I may speak freely.
You do not have to ask my permission.
This is all very overwhelming. We seem to be taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back.
I can understand your confusion, but you cannot allow it to consume you and your emotions to take charge.
Easier said than done. I just...
Oui, monsieur?
Must you be so hard on her?
I presume you refer to Mademoiselle Farquhar.
You talk about emotions not taking charge.
She is a suspect in a murder investigation, not a guest. If Mademoiselle Farquhar is more important than this...
I would have thought you would know better of me by now. I'm sorry, but I don't agree with how you spoke to her.
Молдер, привет!
When it is your investigation, you will have the authority to conduct your questioning how you see fit. Until then, I will continue in a manner that has and continues to bring criminals to justice.
А у меня мальчики ссорятся. Нет, я не нашла гайд в Дискорде.
And I'll just keep my opinions to myself.
Let us focus on the case. What do we know about Mademoiselle Warbeck's relationship with the deceased?
Mr. Christensen suggested she had romantic feelings towards Irene, but she was just another of her pawns.
Ладно, я потом поищу. Спасибо, Молдер.
She cleaned the master key to hide Mademoiselle Gott Smythe's actions. But perhaps she then became worried about her own involvement.
Я, можно сказать, только что проснулась. Я глаза продрала в 3 часа дня. Погуляла с собакой, запустила стрим. Да. Да-да-да. Выглядит как 5 лет брака прям, наверное.
You think she could have killed her to stop the truth coming out to the trustees?
Ну, я перворонку съела. Это считается?
Which would in turn ruin her career. It is certainly a possibility.
Бля, точно Маяковский. Ну, я съела перворонку. Так, хорошо. Съем, потом курицу разогрею. Это будет считаться. Так, что у нас появилось интересного? У нас появилось... Мы наконец-то будем выяснять, кто убил. Ну что, пошли с этой, с мадам Ворбек, господи, или ладно, раз, какого хрена мы здесь стоим? О, святой отец! Святой отец, здравствуйте, ваша светлость. Я вас не заметил.
Your Grace.
Ага. Может быть и есть. Денег нет.
Detective Poirot, good morning. Can I assume there is still a murderer loose on the streets?
Конечно.
London is a very large city. I would fathom a guess that there is more than one, as I have not had the chance to arrest him yet.
Your confidence astounds me. Look, you had better make it quick. I'm meeting the young Russian girl here. She had some questions about the museum building at the gala. Questions I'm sure only I can answer.
Бабаниной. Меня вот больше смущает вот тот мужик на заднем плане, который тупо в стенку пелится. Может, конечно, он в окно пелится, но мне кажется, он в стенку пелится. Да. И вообще, он бабаню ждет.
God teaches us to forgive and love thy neighbor. Sometimes that can be more challenging than expected.
Has she offended you personally?
Using the museum for her sordid meetings with those uncouth men, I'd say so.
Да, а не швырять в них графинами. Согласен,
She
Молдер.
doesn't strike me as someone that would be caught up in that sort of thing.
And what sort of thing?
Well,
Exactly. If you don't know, it would be wise to remain quiet until you're spoken to. I walked in on them in the restoration room a couple of weeks ago. I opened the door. and saw them all.
You are not aware of what they were meeting about?
Do you need to wash your ears out? I just told you what they were up to. And I could see she had the financial books out. Why would she need them? And when she saw me, they stopped talking immediately.
Ну, конечно, все
Surely
замолчали.
that is a
Merci, Your Grace.
А ты сейчас не пробовал? Блин, мне это очень напоминает, знаешь, что это самое? Убийство в Восточном экспрессе, когда дальше это самое, 12 человек и все убийцы. Угу. Так. Ну, Вилен-то это гораздо... Ну, блин, с другой стороны, зачем ему знать эту... Ладно. Ну ладно, пошли в музей. О, у меня... Так, стоп, откуда у меня спички появились в инвентаре? Пуаро, ушел бы он поджигать. Чоп-чоп-чоп-чоп-чоп-чоп-чоп-чоп. Угу. Ля-ля-ля. Ворбик. Здравствуйте.
Mademoiselle Warbeck, if you have a moment.
Как ты думаешь, Ворбик, это фамилия вообще чья? Ну, что-то не теть на английскую.
I'm actually rather busy. Is there any chance you could come back later?
Или тянет?
I would have thought recovering your painting and identifying a murderer would be at the...
I'm sorry. It's just been so hectic here. I can spare 5 minutes. Is it necessary?
You do not wish to impede my investigation?
No, but I don't really understand what they have to do with the case.
Интересно.
It is important that...
That is quite all right, mademoiselle.
Honorable? That's a good one.
I get the sense you two spend your time butting faces.
Butting heads.
Oui, butting heads.
It would be easier to say what we do agree on. I don't know what he has against me. I didn't like one of his suggestions for an exhibition, and since then he's made it pretty clear he wants me gone. Usually after an exhibition, the artists will...
But on this occasion, that is not enough.
I still have every intention of going ahead with the exhibit that includes... I'm still the curator of this museum. I'm hanging...
I recall Mademoiselle Court-Smythe referred to the exhibit as hers. The level of arrogance and hypocrisy is now even more evident.
You have been most helpful.
Да-да-да. Так, хорошо. Ладно, мы поговорили. Да, тут все такие шутники. Вот ты знаешь, у меня вот тут-то почему-то кажется, что Гастингс повесился. Я не знаю почему. А на какое место преступления надо вернуться? Ага. Мне надо вернуться в квартиру к этой бабе. Мне надо вернуться к этому какие... О, я нашел соль. Да, очень убедительно. Персики. Как думаешь, это персики или яблоки? Ой. Так, что-то мне еще надо потыкать здесь. Ну что мне надо? О. Ну хорошо. Отлично. Так. Понедельник. Воскресенье, понедельник, вторник, среда в 13:00. Интервью Тома Скейта. Вопрос наследства. Четверг. Доставку доспеха Уильяма Маршалла. А, кстати, Уильям Маршалл это такой известный чувак был. Мужик. Такой звезда турниров, насколько я помню, средневековых. Угу. А суббот собрание попечителей, воскресенье собрание попечителей, после обеда время будет назначено позже. Понедельник подробности выставки. Участники: попечители, достопочтимый епископ Маут Джой, барон месье Роберт, сэр С. Харгрис, куратор Эвелин Лакшми, блять, Ворбек, все, у меня язык сломался, Даниэла, миссис Фриман, неплохо. Наблюдательный майор Батлер из 9-го королевского полка. Если что, у всех пристрелили. Да и такой, угу. Повышение стоимости выставки, расширение выставки, посвященной Древнему Риму, уместное поведение персонала, ограничение количества школьников на выставку. Да, это важно. Надо уменьшать количество этих самых, как называется, школьников. Я согласна. Школьники — это зло. Встреча с Ирен. Эвелин встречалась со странными неотесанными мужчинами. Давай-ка вот выделенное время совместимую встречу с Ирен.
The evidence suggests something else.
Да ладно. Да быть не может. Хорошо.
Come now.
Нет. Ред копирует работу Перси Блэкфорда. Ну хорошо. Протокол. Ладно.
I should consider this.
Так, может, мы бухгалтерскую книгу? Почему? Слушай. Бля, я дебил, они у меня почему-то горят. Так, ладно. Так, мне опять надо... Слушай, у меня тут почему-то... Так, хорошо. Так, ладно. Пойдем это... Так, а че это... Слушай, у меня коробки размножились. У меня раньше что-то было один ящик, теперь их два. Гасикс. Так. Так, зачем мадам Ворбек проводил тайную встречу? Нет? Найн? Давай встречу с Ирен попробуем. Нет? Ну, значит, что-то я еще не знаю, да? Значит, я еще что-то не знаю. Пошли сейчас. Да они просто пятна краски были. Мы просто определили, что там на стол положили картину, прежде чем ее это... порвать. Мадам?
Go right ahead, detective.
Ну все,
You
я...
have been most helpful.
Да, я закончил. Не, ну, конечно, может быть, у них что-то и есть. Блин, мне так нравится звук этой воды. Бульк, 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 бульк. Я делаю больно Пуаро. Шлеп, 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 шлеп. Здравствуйте.
Go on, then. You make it sound as though it is I.
Forgive me, have I misinterpreted?
If you cannot even understand what I have to say, how will you ever understand what Jesus and his Father in heaven require of you?
That is perhaps a matter best discussed at a later time. What I wish to know now is about you and Mademoiselle Warbeck.
There is no need to lose one's temper, detective. The Lord tells us
Your Grace, please.
a lesson for another time. Let's just say that I certainly wouldn't have given that common thief an exhibition, especially now.
Merci, Your Grace.
Так, хорошо. Че на меня пташка? Смотрите. Ну, блин. Меня что, тут так... убагать? Ну ладно. Да. Довольно Болдер. Мадам Ворбек. А святой отец сказал, что вы воришка. Вот.
Go right ahead, detective.
You have been most...
Вот и поговорили. Гастингс.
Go right ahead,
Ты не Гастингс.
You have been most
Ну, Гастингс. Гастингс. Гастингс не хочется. Ну, пошли в ресурсную комнату опять осматривать. Да, я сейчас хочу с ним поговорить. Мне просто... Это... У меня просто, видишь, не все варианты попадаются. Мне надо как-то выяснить, что вот этих три, 4 заполнить. Чтобы запомнить, мне надо как что-то еще осмотреть. Видишь? О! Нету. Привет, Рамзан. У меня нет таких богатств. Кстати, спички. Стоп. Я же... Ух ты ж.
Ага.
Хорошо. Не? Так, а какой мог быть сейф? Записку комбинации. Ну, пошли искать записку с комбинацией неподалогу. Неподалоку. Неподалоку. Нет, вот я туда пришла. Я так увидела, что тут открыто. Тут раньше было закрыто. Понятно. Масляная краска, неаполитанская желтая, какая-то там еще. Значит, так, надо. Теперь, я так понимаю, мне надо выяснить цвета этих двух красок, да?
О.
Какая она тут? Берлинская лазурь и неаполитанская желтая. Угу. Ну, пойдем. Неаполитанская желтая, 39. Чё? Девять, 3, 5, 8. Так что ли? Слушай, а еще у нее есть цианид. 9, 3, 5, 8, что ли? Или 3, 5, 8, 9. Ну вот, да. Вот я об этом. Ладно, пошли. Пошли. 9, 3, 5, 8. Ну что, как ты думаешь, здесь будет лежать картина? Так, мы нашли. Так, хорошо. Теперь пошли поболтаем с Гастингсом. Возможно? Да. Смотри, вот у нас еще появилось несколько. Но опять же ничего нету, да? Хорошо. О, так, я могу что-то соединить. Что я могу соединить? Так, что я могу соединить? Так, хорошо. Платежи неизвестным получателям карты по 200 и какие-то неотесанные мужланы, да?
Where is the sense in that?
Ну, она им платила? Почему чуть не нравится?
I must act on thought and fact, not on impulse.
Да-да-да, я связываю.
Come, my little grey cells.
Я буду тыкать на все подряд.
This will not get me.
Но это явно не то.
Something just.
Я согласна, что это не то.
I cannot see the logic in this. Perhaps a second. I must take a different approach.
А, все понятно. Спасибо. Ай.
Hot on the culprit's heels.
Может быть, тогда вот это связать с тем, что она что-то платила?
One step closer to revealing the
Так.
truth.
Все, мне подсказали. Спасибо, Олтер. Так, теперь ты можешь с тобой поговорить? Ну, теперь мы выяснили, что она это проводила, чтобы пригласить новых художников. Да? Нет? Да, бля, что такое-то? А, бля, мне современный музей надо найти, блин, я дебил. О, я нашла эту хрень.
Bishop Mountjoy was quite adamant Mademoiselle Barbeck's meeting was something untoward. Although I believe any to have a young woman undermine him in front of the other trustees. He allows his personal feelings to accentuate his cynical side, instead of allowing fact. Mademoiselle Warbeck was doing nothing detrimental to the museum. In fact, quite the opposite.
Ура! Мы кого-то обелили! Она очень любит музей, поэтому она, это самое... готова убить за него, да. Да. И работу она любит. И вообще, я считаю, все виноваты русские. По крайней мере, в краже портсигара. Ну, Ле Фуркуа.
Go right ahead, Detective. I wonder who you've been talking to. What did he tell you? That I've been up to no good?
Да. Любовь к искусству, да.
Not in so many words.
I was meeting with artists for a new exhibition. He has no idea what he is talking about when it comes to art. Or really anything for that fact. He can't see the future. The new wave that will change the art world forever.
Точно. Нейросеть изменит мир.
As well as the uncouth gentleman you met, he also mentioned the financial books.
Uncouth? Anyone not wearing full priest robes is uncouth to him. I wouldn't show Horace the finances because it has nothing to do with him. And he's... Well, considering he didn't want her work anywhere near the museum, I wouldn't have said they had one at all. Then the next thing I heard was that he had commissioned her to do some pieces for his church. I didn't know anything about it until Irene told me.
Do you know what he had commissioned her to paint?
No idea, I'm afraid. She was sworn to secrecy.
You have been most helpful.
Ура! Пойдемте опять болтать со священником. Может, даже в церковь сходим. Нет, церковь не пустит. Да! Мне просто музыка нравится. Запрещающие развороты. Привет. А мне сказали, что у нас новый разговор
Go
разблокирован.
on, then. You'll have to be more...
The paintings produced by Mademoiselle.
Oh, yes. Well, I thought it was necessary if she was to feature in the museum.
You couldn't just use her other pieces as reference?
I suppose I could have, but I don't actually see why it is any concern of yours. It is not as though I kept it anyway. I wasn't happy with it clogging...
Merci, Your Grace.
И что теперь? Ну, пошли церковь осматривать. Дядя, мы пошли в церковь. Я надеюсь, ведь... Падре отдал картину художнице, чтобы она сделала копию. Танка сделала 2 копии, вернула коллекционную свою поделку. Потом потребовала продать. Ну, блин. Какой хороший Падре. А потом он будет орать, типа, это я сделал все, чтобы это самое, ради музея. Во славу церкви, во благо Бога, да? Аллилуйя. Хари Кришна, Хари Рама, да? Слышите смех панорама?
Ага.
А какого хрена священник разрешил Библию? И почему?
Oh. Oh. Huh. Aha.
О, кувшинчик.
Huh.
Так, хорошо.
Huh.
А по-моему, классная картинка.
Hmm.
Все-таки вот есть отличие от католических
Ага.
икон от православных. Вот это, знаешь, вот, ну, знаешь, вот знаешь, в католических они
О.
все таки кровь с молоком прям. Но.
Huh. Oh. Ага.
Прям как будто комикс какой смотрю.
Huh. Huh.
Подожди, я же вроде бы все посмотрел, да? Огневая не помню. Подарок.
Oh.
То есть кота мы из нее не могли достать. Так, можно я еще раз по это поизучаю? А, вот это еще не было.
Ah.
Вот еще один такой флинчик.
Ah. Huh. Ah.
Так. На полу? На каком полу? Сейчас, подожди секундочку. Кто такая Вероника? И, по-моему, сам утирается.
Oh.
Так. Подожди, это я изучала, это я изучила, это я изучила. Это я посмотрела, это я посмотрела. Ведь так? Так, я это посмотрела. О, давайте тыкать. У нас что-то появилось, что можно потыкать.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
Ну и зачем она это сделала?
Is there something I am not... Another success. I never doubted. Order and method. That... The answer was staring me in the face.
Вот козел. Вот и верь после этого служителям церкви.
It appears that the good bishop has been replacing the church's original artwork. He commissioned her to make these forgeries.
Disappearing where, though?
Why else? Mademoiselle Babagnin appears to have been right about the bishop's connection to the black market. Now, Hastings, we must ask ourselves, where might Bishop Mountjoy be hiding the original paintings from the church before... must gain access to the space behind.
Но мне очень интересно, что тут надо с этими картинами делать. Особенно с этими кувшинами. Так. Все, пошли изучать картинку.
Ага.
Первый так, вторая лежит, да? Мне надо найти различия. Значит, во-первых, широкая полоса. Подожди. Первый такой кувшинчик. А второй с двумя ручками, да? Так, один кувшин с одной ручкой, другой кувшин с двумя ручками, да? Все, пойдемте дальше думать. Пойдемте дальше думать. Это с двумя ручками, это который лежит, да? Ну, блин. Да вы издеваетесь, да? Значит, не с этой начинать надо. Пойдемте еще раз. Это, по-моему, так, да? Нет, это тоже две ручки. Подожди-ка. Это вот так? Ну, подожди-ка. Но у меня... Я больше не могу взаимодействовать с картиной, кстати.
Why don't you have a look first?
Do not tell me you are afraid of the dark.
Not the dark, just pitch black, eerie passages in old churches.
Да! И вообще у меня клаустрофобия, криптомания одновременно.
Where are we?
Я боюсь воровать в закрытых помещениях.
If I am not mistaken, this is part of the secret tunnels that were built hundreds of years ago to sneak those that did not agree with the powers of the country out.
Да. Теперь понятно, зачем нам свечи понадобились.
And why exactly are we in here?
The why must never be obvious. That
Right.
Мне очень нравится, зато коврик есть. Блин, да какие классные свечи. Что я тут делаю?
Ага.
Судя по всем признакам... зачем он ее так, это самое... Вот это красивое.
О.
we have our third forgery.
Thank goodness. Don't know how I would explain finding the original in such a state.
Bishop Mountjoy must have discovered the painting that he received.
And lashed out. He's been using this room to store his own private art collection.
What I find
is that not only does he deprive the world of beauty and joy from seeing these works, but he also keeps... He's even having to light his candle clock to keep from drifting off down here. Such a waste.
One's opinions are now worthless.
I was only voicing my thoughts.
You have thoughts beside those of Mademoiselle Farquhar?
Really, Poirot? You still think so little of me?
When one exclaims such regard for a suspect in a murder investigation, it is hard not to think...
You may not be so accustomed to the idea of showing, or at least having, some form of empathy for our fellow man.
There is a difference between empathy and lust.
Ну, любит он рыжих. А ты на русскую запал. Ёмчу.
And there is a difference between commenting and being rude and obnoxious.
I was not expecting Monsieur Hastings to be so sensitive on the matter. Perhaps this conversation is best saved for when we are not trapped together.
Не, Агасис не ревнует.
What was that? Oh, just the bishop's candle clock. I don't know about you, but I've had enough of this place. Let's get out of here. What are you doing, Poirot?
S'il vous plaît, un moment.
The bishop's candle clock has forced me to question everything of the murders.
We must return to Mademoiselle Gortsmith.
Perhaps that is a job best left for you. But
Улики возле камина. Блин. До сих пор дымит. А. Так, и что нам надо сделать?
Ага.
Мне надо найти свечу? Свечку? Или...
О. Ага.
Так, ладно. Ну, Гасин женился только потому, что Агате Кристи надо было из повествования выгнать. Поэтому она тупо женилась, сбагрила в Аргентину. Вообще на другой континент.
О.
И вообще, как там говорил Пуаро, я знал множество дел, где жена отравила мужа, муж душил жену, поэтому нет, спасибо.
Ха.
А он пессимист. Ящик наполовину полон.
А.
Et maintenant...
Oh.
I believe myself to be the greatest detective in the most prestigious police force in the world. But I have been duped and swindled, falling directly into the trap laid by the killer. And now I stand here alone. Monsieur Hastings was quick to make his excuses to retire to his abode and not return to the city. I hope there is not something further that troubles him. One does not need added strength. Sacré. I have spent my time staring into the sun when deceit and deception has taken place in the shadows. A murderer remains free, but the truth of the fire eludes Detective Hercule Poirot no more, and soon neither will their identity. I cannot believe I allowed myself to fall for such a deceptive move. The killer knew I would ask for an alibi, and now though I have the upper hand. The killer believes that I have extinguished all avenues of my questioning. Unaware I know the truth of the fire. I wish Monsieur Hastings were here. I was perhaps too harsh with him. I know of his want for the same as I, the truth. But now I fear that I have lost into my own tenacious demeanor.
Рефлексия началась, да?
Now more than ever do I need my little grey cells working at full capacity. Monsieur Demire and Mademoiselle Babagna. I am glad to say that they both still have alibis, as the show had just reached its second act. I can be sure that neither was involved. Mademoiselle Farquhar. She claims that she was in the dark room developing pictures, and even her alibi stands. Monsieur Dryden can confirm. Monsieur Christiansen, one of my key suspects, drinking alone except for a brief encounter. But Madame Allen can substantiate his trip to see her at the theater to apologize during the intermission. Which leads us to the good Madame Allen. On a side note, I must make an effort to see her production, from what I have. The Honorable Bishop Mountjoy. His Mademoiselle Warbeck and he were together in what I can only imagine to be an uncomfortable meeting for them
Ну
both.
или они это очень хорошо разыгрывают.
Her innocence has already been confirmed. Although last but certainly not least, Monsieur and the article in the newspaper documenting his, as some see, heroic... And where are we left now? Every but when one looks most innocent, that is...
Так, куда теперь? А, на представление. На представление. Ля-ля-ля-ля-ля-ля. Идем на представление. Ля-ля-ля-ля-ля. Прям через гриб. О, Демир. Демир.
Finally, a face I can trust.
Everything all right, Poirot?
I'm afraid things could not be further.
Don't tell me the famous Detective Poirot is stumped.
Stumped? No. Perplexed? Perhaps you can be my
I may not be the celebrated doctor that my father hoped for, but I still like to keep up with recent medical journals.
And what is the latest?
Итак, кокаин представляет собой экстракт алкалоида из листьев кока, обычно базисующих в Южной Америке. Его наиболее распространенной формой является гидрохлорид, который можно принимать перорально, интразонально или внутривенно. Пиковый эффект колеблется от 1 до 90 минут в зависимости от способа введения. Влияние кокаина на сердечно-сосудистую систему. Наиболее распространенными симптомами употребления кокаина являются боль в груди, а наиболее распространенными сердечными расстройствами ишемии и острый коронарный синдром. Кстати, а у этого того политика, кстати, это самое сердечный приступ был. А еще мы нашли туфлю с кокаином. Это что, политик принимает кокаин? Ладно. А другие сердечные проблемы включают миокардит, кардиопатию и аритмию. Кокаин увеличит частоту сердечных сокращений, кровяное давление и сократительную способность миокарда, что повышает потребность последнего в кислороде. С ростом доступности числа потребителей кокаина продолжает увеличиваться, и многие считают, что положительный эффект наркотика превышает потенциальные опасные риски.
This particular article is about the effect of cocaine on the user's body. I thought I liked to have a good time, but that drug...
What makes you say that?
I wouldn't want my heart beating at the speed of a locomotive. I haven't actually. I gave him my office telephone number.
You sound surprised.
He probably wants to keep his health issues out of the public eye. Hence me. Do you think there is a chance he could... How those little grace...
Please, my friend.
You're serious?
At this point, anything is a possibility. I think if it... Mademoiselle Babagna, a pleasure as...
Good morning,
Господи,
gentlemen.
как она тут появилась?
I'm afraid my pleasantries are to be cut short this morning. Good morning, mademoiselle.
That's quite all right.
The case has taken a direction I had not foreseen.
I will not stand here and listen to you.
Merci, mademoiselle. That...
Whatever you need.
I must get back to my...
Ура! Меня не пускают. Мадемуазель, у вас милая шляпка. Мадам, у вас тоже. Сэр.
Just a moment. I'm coming.
What a great commotion coming from behind the door.
Мебель прячь.
Detective, what can I do for you?
Could you spare a moment of your time?
Why wouldn't I?
You are recovering from a pet...
Are we really going over this again?
It would help me clear up some...
Very well. As I've said before, and then I was speaking with the reporter.
The editor, Nathaniel Dryden.
If you say so, at the news office.
Monsieur Ellsworth is sticking to his story. I did not expect...
And why would I? Oh, to thank him for...
One would think that thanking the man that saved your life would be further up your priorities.
I'm a very busy man, as I'm sure you understand. And I don't know whether I'd go as far as saying he saved my life.
On the contrary, had Monsieur Demire not been there with his extensive medical training, and
If Monsieur Ellsworth is not prepared to tell the truth, perhaps I can...
The nurse said herself that I had the heart of a young athlete. It'll take more than that to slow me.
well, I would not take that as a sign to start the spot. Merci.
I find myself in a most problematic position. My associate, Monsieur... There must be someone else that I can call upon.
Он уже помощник.
Someone to fill the shoes of Monsieur Hastings. For the time being, at least. The obvious choice would be Monsieur Demire.
Охренеть, мы сразу замену ищет. А если это были бы фанфики, Гасис бы сел в баре и напивался бы.
Whatever you need.
I must get back to my...
You need only go.
I require a distraction.
Who am I to
Monsieur Aylesworth.
Detective Poirot? Preparing to cross the line of law?
Not cross. Merely tiptoe alongside.
Да, писечку так.
I assume you have.
A requested tour of the Royal Society of Art Building.
Then that is what I shall do.
The door has been left ajar, exactly as required. I could hear Monsieur Ellsworth fumbling around behind his door on my last visit. I can presume he had something he did not want.
Куда дели ферзя? О, пистолет.
Ah.
Жалко, что никого не пристрелили. Хотя, с другой стороны, если есть ружье, то рано или поздно оно споет.
Ah.
А вот и ложка для нюхательного табака. Давайте нюхать что-нибудь. Ну, кроме от табака. А вот и ферзь.
Logical thinking shall... Order and method.
Нет?
Come, my little grey cells. We... I cannot see the logic in this. Magnifique.
Так, хорошо. Но почему она прокинула шахматы? А вот это... О, тайник.
Huh.
Да, это же неспроста, я согласна.
This will not get me any... Is there some... I must take a different approach if I am to uncover... Voila.
Зачем я глобус передвигал?
Something just does not... Where is the sense in that? I should consider this further. Come now. What a revelation!
Облегчение! Он что-то замышлял у книжной полки. Злодей! У меня есть потайная комната. Я тут помню, какой-то фантастический роман читала. Там парня решили прибить, а подослав к нему убийцу. А убийца не задумал ничего умнее, чем замаскироваться под колонну в его комнате. Ну, он такой заходит, знаешь, в эту комнату, видит посреди своей комнаты у него стоит колонна. Слушай. А потом, знаешь, говорит своему знакомому.
Put your hands up and step away from there.
Monsieur, there is no need.
Enough of your phony pleasantries. Let's see what the real police have to say.
The first thing they would notice is the politician aiming his revolver at an officer while they are conducting official police business.
I'm sure they would agree. I have every right to protect myself from a foreign intruder.
If you were to lower the gun, perhaps we could discuss
Сейчас
the
должен
situation we
гаситься,
find
да?
ourselves in.
Я верю, гасится.
You may have authority in your own country, but not here. Now, explain yourself.
Ладно.
You don't know what you're talking about. Enough! How has it all come to this? No, it's not my fault. It's...
It is not too late. Your intentions were good. Scotland Yard will look sympathetically at...
If you had just left that fool Hardwick to it, we wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have to do this.
I have done nothing but remain honorable to my oath to uphold the law. It is Monsieur's choices and actions that have brought us to this point. And he must accept responsibility for what is to come.
Oops.
Poirot, are you all right?
All the better for seeing you, Hastings.
По-моему, дальше от двери стоял.
I was worried I was going to miss him.
Your timing and accuracy could not have been more perfect.
What do we do now?
We take our leave.
And what about him? Will he be okay?
He shall be fine. Although I am not envious of the sore head he will awake to. Come, there is much to tell.
А, может, заберу мне пистолет?
Behind the bookshelf. But I never.
Нет, по-моему, просто ему дали по голове. Может, заберу мне, не знаю, заберу мне пистолет.
Monsieur Dryden, how are you?
Detective
Poirot.
Да, тоже, кстати, хорошо. Поищи тайную комнату.
Yes, of course. She is, but not here.
Do you know where she...
She said something. For what, exactly?
Forgive me. I recently inherited a number of belongings from a deceased relative, including an undeveloped spool of film.
I'd like to help, but there isn't...
I'm more than capable, and I'll leave it tidier than when we arrived.
In that case, knock yourselves out. I've got a meeting to run to anyway.
Pardon. Where has this confident and daring
We all have a hidden side. It's just our own choice of when to show it.
So, our first step is...
Don't tell me there is something the great Detective Poirot...
I must concede that photography is something I have little experience in.
Lucky I'm here then. We need to start with a tray filled with developing fluid.
Ага. А еще лучшее
Next, pour
место
the
для
fixer
проявки
fluid into another
фотографий
tray
в
and
квартире
then
это
add the
ванная.
photographic paper.
I have a newfound respect for those that...
Let's just wait until we see the results. It should...
Huh. Oh.
Бумага. О, шляпка.
Ah. Aha. Aha.
Ясен, что надо
Have you
делать еще
found it
раз?
yet? You want the photographic fixer?
And how would one know?
It smells like ammonia. Handy, I suppose, when you... We've already been over this, Poirot. I don't want to...
I have no intentions of continuing our previous conversation.
She didn't steal the painting, though.
Her guilt in Mademoiselle...
Ладно.
Merci.
Так, что мне надо делать?
Okay, I think that's everything. Oh,
Is there a...
there shouldn't be, but there must be light.
Is that not the point of a dark room? That it...
We need to find where the light's coming in from and damaging the...
You continue your work?
Так, и откуда у нас свет проникает?
Oh. Ah.
Так, подожди-ка. Подожди-ка. Ничего не понимаю. Вон какой-то источник света. Это вообще где нахожусь? Кран, мисочки, блин. Где-то здесь? Окошко. Платочек. Так, хорошо. А дальше что?
Monsieur Hastings, may we...
I'm in the middle of developing the...
I'm afraid...
Mr. Poirot, you are a genius. Mr. Poirot, you are a genius. That would never have even occurred to me. I've got a lot to learn. Look, this photograph is just about finished.
Oi.
Is that?
It appears so.
And what has she got in her hand? That...
The cigarette case that was taken from Mademoiselle Farquhar's luggage on our voyage. It appears Mademoiselle Farquhar had a much closer relationship with Mademoiselle Court Smythe.
Cousins.
Oui, monsieur. Hastings, I must thank you.
И вообще не по канону. По канону Гась должен говорить: Боже правый. Боже правый. Боже правый.
For what? Allowing myself to be enticed by Miss Farquhar's feminine nature.
For saving me from whatever Monsieur Aylesworth and his revolver had planned.
If it wasn't for me licking my wounds, you wouldn't have been there alone in the first place.
И вас бы пристрелили бы вдвоем.
And if you were, and not at the Court Smythe estate, we would never have made such revelations. You are one of the most honest and authentic fellows I have met. You cannot allow a misguided moment of red-blooded male instinct to taint that.
You have never let yourself fall to the wicked ways of the fairer sex.
Да, точно.
No. And that is a day...
With Hastings' help at the Court Smythe estate, something I would have liked to have considered, the circumstances around the murder need no further consideration. But the location...
Так, хорошо.
A moment of peace before one's little grey cells must ponder how Mademoiselle Court Smythe made it from the museum with the painting in tow.
Ну да, солдат спит, служба идет. Детектив стоит, сюжет движется. Все нормально.
Ah, yes. Hastings had something for me. An invitation to... Even after the truths of her crimes and personal betrayal, Mademoiselle wore the... Perhaps Mademoiselle did not leave with the painting at all.
Что...
Poirot, there you are. What are you...
Медитирует на чашку.
On this occasion, there is no time for pleasantries. We must return to the scene of the enigma.
Да.
Is everyone present? Please ask them to convene in the exit.
Is there something you're not telling me?
All will... Messieurs et mesdames, thank you for joining us here today.
What's this all about? Yes, my time is...
I thought everyone was here to see the exhibition.
I'm all for looking at some real art, as long as it's not all her.
I understand the frustration and hostility that most of you must feel towards her.
Hatred, loathing.
Betty, please.
Even after everything, you stand here.
I'm not defending her. If anyone should hate her,
Perhaps you should move on.
In this room is where it all began. Alright, we are all aware Mademoiselle Court-Smythe was behind the painting's disappearance. But it was not a moment of greed, but rather a well-orchestrated plan that involved most of you tangled in her web of lies and deceit.
Да, круто.
All right, we all know why we're here. Maybe you can speed it along a little.
At the Detective Inspector's request, I shall forego the series of events that led up to the theft of the penitent Magdalene painting.
Вон за той картиной висит, да? Портрет.
Perhaps a fitting place to begin would be with the death of Mademoiselle Court.
If that's going to get things moving.
You are all aware of the fire and murder that took place at Mademoiselle Court-Smythe's loft apartment.
The fire that she started after...
That is where the difference between desire for the truth and the... Inside Mademoiselle's apartment was the penitent Magdalene painting. Or at least a forgery. One of... The fire was set purposely, in an attempt to destroy evidence and hide the true nature of her death.
Так, ну что мне надо делать? К священнику?
I have dedicated my life to serve.
The pieces you had commissioned by Mademoiselle Court-Smythe, which hang on your church walls...
Why are we even
Has this got anything to do with...
Mademoiselle Court-Smythe's forgeries would be hung on the church walls, while the originals were sold on the black market to lace your own pockets.
You have no proof of the...
Poirot, the penitent Magdalene.
How could one forget? We have already discussed one of the multiple forgeries. Mademoiselle Court-Smythe sold you a forgery that you believed to be real. And upon learning of its fabrication, you lashed out, destroying it. One should not allow oneself the arrogance to consider themselves the smartest in the room. Especially when they have already fallen foul to another's life. I am sure theft and embezzlement are questionable enough in God's eyes.
I know things got out of hand, but it was you...
There still remains one the image of the honorable and distinguished...
It may seem like an alien... How long are we going to...
Poirot, can we move...
While searching the main hall for clues, and after speaking with my good friend, Monsieur Demire, about the effect...
Recent studies have discovered that the use of cocaine and other such stimulants...
Plus!
Your heart attack became the perfect distraction, while Mademoiselle Court-Smythe was able to slip into...
Faking a heart attack is pretty...
Monsieur
Once the painting had been confirmed as...
And Monsieur Aylesworth had bothered the detective inspector enough to show he had not...
He would get to keep the original and claim the insurance money. He was going to have his cake.
You'll stay right where you are.
A stolen painting. Timed perfectly with his... All designed to raise his profile. Just in time to announce...
I wasn't doing it for me.
I have never heard a more self-righteous claim for breaking the law in all my life.
How am I meant to help those that really need it unless I...
It all ends here.
Poirot, the penitent mag...
Так, кого еще будем обличать? Ебайте.
I wonder how many other hidden... I wonder how many other hidden... I wonder how many
Да
other...
хоть сможем твои поговорить.
Haven't you caused enough?
Madame Hélène, the famous actress and performer. Your star.
Look here!
When you overheard the conversation between your husband that
I did everything to keep you happy.
it began with an infatuation, but turned into a
So that's why you took it.
She manipulated me from... She used...
Oh, just keep it shut.
Perhaps for once, you should listen to it.
This is all going to make for...
Deals were hatched, forgeries were created, and promises. She allowed for you all to see and know only what was necessary.
As much as I'm enjoying this show,
You shall have to wait only a moment longer. As not only her aid in the museum, but in the construction of the forgeries.
You were part of it. The whole time.
Taking us all for fools.
This is all going to make for...
You know where the painting is.
Mademoiselle Warbeck. Do...
No, I mean...
On the contrary, Mademoiselle Court Smythe threatened your career by...
I wouldn't kill her, though.
You cleaned the key to the restaurant. You continued to deny your involvement. A relationship that was nothing more than
You think I don't know that? I knew it had been her that took the key from my pocket.
Behind bars, that's...
Give it a rest, old man.
She can't speak to me like that.
Before you continue riding your high horse, Your Grace,
My actions? How dare you?
it is you that makes a mockery. And I'm
Congratulate...
Боже мой, мне закрыли путь в рай, что же делать?
I know you have a flair for the drum.
Так, с кем я еще не поговорила?
This is all going to make...
Deep down, I knew she never loved me. And it was all too good to...
Ну и что делать?
Poirot, the penitent... Poirot, the penitent...
It all ends here.
I wonder how many other hidden...
And now...
This is all going to make...
Deep down, I knew she never loved me. And it was all too good to be true.
I hope you're happy.
Да, я доволен. Что-то они на меня все обиделись, да?
I know you have a flair for...
Mademoiselle Courtsmite manipulated everyone.
Poirot, the murderer. Tell us now.
Of our suspects, all guilty in some form or other. Monsieur Christiansen, a lover, jilted and tossed aside from a life. Mademoiselle Warbeck, another that was promised her heart only. Monsieur Aylesworth, anger that a foolproof plan. Bishop Mountjoy, a third, sold the idea of an original painting, living. Mademoiselle Farquhar, trapped in a partnership where you did not risk, all with motive, but lacking opportunity. Isn't that right? Our true relation to the deceased. Cousin.
You don't understand.
You decided to poison her with potassium cyanide, a chemical often found in photography development. Wearing an almost identical hat to the deceased, you were able to, leaving her body lifeless in her own apartment. You tried to cover, incredibly clever, your nefarious plans.
Did you really just praise her for
Ты
starting
можно
a fire?
похвалить.
On the contrary, it was a timer was used, allowing for Mademoiselle Farquhar to be seen in her.
I didn't want to kill her.
She gave you no choice. You planned and executed.
A cousin that has controlled me for years. I couldn't escape her.
She held you captive? I did not see a prison cell in her apartment.
No, of course she didn't. Emotionally and financially, I was a struggling critic. But she taught me how to stand up.
You were aware of her scheme all along?
Not at first. I didn't know she was...
But even when you did find out,
There was always a reason I couldn't. And I couldn't remain under her control anymore.
Mademoiselle,
all I see is the student becoming the master.
Detective Inspector, perhaps it is time. The truth has been revealed. And Mademoiselle...
There is something you'll forget.
If you think for a moment that the location...
Go on then. Where...
In this very museum. If the original painting was to find its way into her portfolio, it would be returned to her after her exhibition has concluded. Meaning,
It would be delivered to her on a plate.
exactement. She prepared one of her picture frames and made sure it would be in the restoration room.
What on earth is he doing?
You've got to be kidding me.
Ворует картину.
It would take too long to remove the nails from the frame and hide it, surely.
The nails were sewn down, creating the illusion of being used correctly, when in fact the backboard was easily accessible. Hidden perfectly behind what Mademoiselle Courtsmite deemed to be her masterpiece.
I never doubted him for a second.
Messieurs et mesdames, the penitent
Подожди
Magdalene.
картину! Гасит, если потеряет работу.
Well, detective, you've solved both the theft and murder. I am rather
Finding the murderer and solving two thefts would have been far more impressive.
Two thefts?
You have forgotten Mademoiselle Farquhar's...
Oh, of course.
Mademoiselle Farquhar is far from an honest woman. But if our motive was indeed to fake, she would surely not have left it lying. Mademoiselle Babagnin's motive is now clear. Something Hastings said has my little grey cells fired up. Nothing is ever quite what it seems. Could Mademoiselle Babagnin have pulled the wool over my eyes in a similar way?
It is you that should be happy, mademoiselle. You turned a stolen heirloom with a thief and a victim into...
A case of being in the right place.
I do not believe in coincidence. You were where you were meant to be. Had you all been able to be within touching distance of so many beautiful and historical pieces? One thing I have learned during my time here in London is that people...
What are you trying to say?
That there are some that wear a mask of authenticity. That perhaps, under different circumstances, I would have had the pleasure of me.
Will you be leaving London now?
There are a few small matters to settle before I leave. Mademoiselle Farquhar is now...
You really do believe in the law?
If you do not believe in the law...
And everyone should be punished?
I believe that we should be held accountable for our actions. No one...
Or woman?
And you, mademoiselle? Are you too...
There's nothing more for me here. Perchance our paths should...
Perhaps, under those different circumstances.
I look forward to it.
Ну ладно.
Detective.
Ну прям графиня Русакова.
Well, that's that then.
Oui, monsieur. The cases are closed and Mademoiselle Farquhar will shortly be behind bars.
Мне кажется, на вещи должна оказаться скоро.
What of the others?
Judging by the detective inspector's glare at Monsieur Aylesworth, he will not be escaping the... And Bishop Mountjoy. Once news spreads of his connection with the Black Mark...
I was hoping at least someone would get...
Monsieur Hastings, you have been by my side throughout this investigation.
I helped where I could, but it was mostly you. And
what you may not know, and I would kindly request you keep to yourself, is that I consider myself somewhat...
Loner?
I would not go as far as that. But it appears you understand my sentiment.
Good thing I was around to save you from a gunman.
I fear I shall not live that down.
I'll maybe hold on to it a little longer. Not meant...
The great Detective Poirot. As much as I admire your formality, I think
our new relationship.
I have seen the benefit of friendship. Connecting with someone that can be trusted and loyal. Someone that shares an authenticity not only in them...
And that's me. Detective Poirot and his trusted friend, Arthur Hastings.
It does have a certain charm to it, n'est-ce pas?
Че за па? Ура! Мы прошли игру. Мы умнички. О, тут есть попробовать, отлично. Все, всем спасибо, мы прошли игру, мы молодцы, мы умные. Всем спасибо, всем пока. И да, вы лучшие.